I'm Sheilaa Hite, world-class astrologer, tarot master, past life regressionist, spell caster, and all-around magical being. And I'm here tonight to talk to you about August. It's August 1st, and this is going to be, well, this is already starting out and will continue to be a most intense month. I've called it Drama Central, but it's so much more than that. So I've got great notes. There's so much happening that I'm going to do the first half of August tonight and come back in a couple of weeks and finish the last half. There's a lot going on. So occasionally I will look down at my notes. I made extensive notes so that I didn't forget anything. And when I look away, don't worry, I'll be back. So let's start out with what this month looks like overall. As I said, Drama Central. It's an extremely intense month. You have two grand trines. Now, a grand trine is astrology's for great, harmonious, wonderful, lucky things happening. So we have that happening this month. And we start out the month with a T-square, which is astrology's for, we need to be very careful as we make our way through this territory. Because there's a lot of intensity there, and there are a lot of little tricks and traps there. We also have several oppositions, but we have a major opposition, and that would be, not an opposition, sorry, we do have major oppositions, but the things that are most screaming are the squares. And a square is like that. It's friction, and it always involves you and something or someone else. So we have a major square, and a square is the personal Mars. Mars is how I get things done, how I make things happen, and it's squaring three planets, Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn. So Saturn, and they're all in the sign of Capricorn. And so the Mars in Aries is about me wanting to move in a certain way, do a certain amount of things in a certain way, and Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto in Capricorn are about the establishment, the big they, the authority figures. So autonomy versus authority is a very big theme for this month. One of the things we have to do is figure out how to use that energy. Energy isn't here just to be here. Energy is here, and it gives us an opportunity, if we use it, to change what's going on in our lives or to enhance what's going on in our lives. Some things you can't do anything about, but when you can do something, you need to be aware of it and you need to move forward with it. So let us continue with the details. On August 2nd, which is coming up shortly in the States and in Europe and other places in the world, it's already that, August 2nd and August 3rd. So that's Sunday and Monday. We've a really big clump of intense energy happening. And the big clump of intense energy on August 2nd is the sun, the giver of life, the life force, is making an abrasive square aspect to the planet of anything can happen, Uranus. Now, since it's the sun, yes, we know that, but the sun, which will be at a certain point in Leo, is opposite the moon at the exact opposite point in Aquarius. We call that phenomenon a full moon. So when the moon is full, it's a dynamic time anyway. When the moon is full, great drama, great life drama can happen. When the moon is full, there's all of this wild and wacky, crazy excess energy just looking for something to ping off of. Well, this time, the something that it's going to ping off of is a planet called Uranus, the planet of unexpected, uncontrollable change. Wild, wild things can happen. So you have your sun here, your moon here, and then over here, so they make an aspect like that, which is a square, is the planet Uranus, the planet that things are pinging off of. The things, the sun, the ego, and the life force. The moon, our feelings, are whether or not we feel nurtured or safe. And we have those pinging off the planet of anything can happen. So what we have here is an opportunity for all kinds of creativity to come forward. Now, it's going to come forward in the way it comes forward if we do nothing to guide that energy. It's a full moon. The sun is already up here spouting its tail. The moon is down here spouting its tail. And now an interloper, Uranus, has come in and has something to say too. How do we deal with that? It's intense energy. And the way you deal with it is you have to sit with it, not take action, sit with it and listen to your spirit, listen to your heart, listen to your head, and determine where in you are resisting change. Because wherever Uranus occurs, there will be great change. And change in and of itself is a wonderful thing most of the time. But human beings do not like change. We just don't. We think it's great for other people, but when it's our turn, we're not so happy. So you have here the mandate for this, the fullness of the energy of our solar system, sun, opposition moon, full moon, is contacting this Uranus. Anything can happen, and part of that anything can happen is major change. So we need to get with the program. It's time for deep level, transformational, honest with self change and shifting. And the first place I think you should go is to say, what are my issues with change? What do I need to do to make change, if not a friend, to certainly make it an easy companion on the journey I'm on now? Because this, at this time, where we are in our lives, where we are in the year, this is about major change. And all you have to do is turn the television on or read whatever is going on online, and you'll find out there's something happening out there. And if it's happening out there, it's happening in this universe too. So where in you do you need to say, I need to make a change? Where have I been holding on? What's going on? The other thing I'll say about that full moon is I love making and drinking and using something I call moon water. Now, moon water is made very simply by you take a cup or a glass or a container and you put water in it and you place that in the light. You place it in the window. I place it up on the windowsill, and I place it there so that I can get the rays and the light of this full moon energy, the sun and the moon sort of really falling into this glass of water and mixing with it. If you want to set your container outside, and many people do want to do that and have the space to do that, great. Just make sure you have a cover so critters don't crawl in. After the new moon, I usually wait 2 or 3 days afterwards. So in this case, it would be around the 5th or 6th. I take that water and I sip it. I pour a little in my food when I'm cooking. I pour a little in my bath water. You can use it to give dynamic action and focus and energy to yourself, to your projects. You can water your plants with it, but be careful in watering the plants because it's concentrated energy. So you don't want to really overload the plants. So we'll move on to the big theme for this particular full moon, and the big thing, one of the big themes for this month, and I think it's really important to pay attention to it, is think outside the box. Be willing to think outside the box, please, because that's where the answers are, outside the box. Remember, this is a tremendous time of change. And during this time of change, what worked before is probably not going to work now, or not work in the way you're used to it working. Think outside the box. Place yourself in the center of whatever is going on and think, well, how does this usually work? And if there is a way it usually works, the solution is probably the opposite way. So try that. See what happens. Because change is here, and we need to be with it and not have to swim against it. On August 5th, the planet Mercury enters the sign of Leo. Mercury is the planet of how we get not how we get things done, sorry, how we gather and process information. So how do you gather and process information? How do you think? How do you communicate? That's Mercury. Mercury is going to go into the sign of the sun, Leo. The sun knows very clearly who he is. The sun knows what he is about. The sun is a very masculine energy. Mercury is also masculine, but Mercury is also androgynous. So Mercury is flexible. The sun generally is not. Mercury is going to go into the sign Leo. Leo is the sign of drama. It's a sign of the heart. It's a sign of the autocrat. So when Mercury goes into Leo, you have to be careful. Please be flexible. The one thing that'll come up when Mercury's in Leo is, I'm right. And that's I'm right without really thinking about it. That's declaring that you're right without really checking to see if, I wonder if that really is right or not. I wonder if things have changed. I wonder if I would benefit from looking at this another way. You want to really involve your heart. Leo rules the heart. Mercury rules the mind. You want to involve your mind and your heart in coming up with the answers, in setting things to right. You want to have your mind and your heart there. The fact that you're right may indeed be a fact, but it might not be something that works in this moment. So always head and heart, especially during the few weeks that Mercury is in Leo. On August 7th, Venus enters the sign Cancer. Well, this is a gentle occasion. Venus represents women. It represents balance, relationships, harmony, healing, and money. Venus represents a lot of great things. It also represents jewelry and gifts. Why not? Well, it enters the sign of Cancer. Cancer is the great nurturer, the nurturing spirit. So Venus in Cancer means time to take gentle care of yourself. Time to take gentle care of that you value, because Venus rules value, especially self-value too. So time to nurture, time to give a good emotional, healthy emotional foundation to whatever you're doing or whatever you're considering doing, to your relationships, no matter how old or how new. It's time to approach all of this, your interactions with other people, your interactions with your pets. It's time to approach them from a perspective of, how can we nurture each other? How can we make our time together really resonate with love, with caring, with concern? Venus in Cancer, excellent. The next thing that's going to happen is August 13th. Mars squares Pluto. So Mars is the planet of how we get things done, the planet of how I got here from there, the planet of what action do I take. And Pluto is the planet of transformation. And a square is an abrasive aspect. Mars is said in astrology to be the baby brother of Pluto. So when Mars squares Pluto, family dynamics come into play. And you don't really want these two brothers at it, because Mars is about explosiveness and Pluto is about the atom bomb. And so you really don't want all of that. It's this scorched earth approach to life. However, it's a lot of phenomenal energy that we can actually learn how to use for ourselves in order to get our creative projects done. So it's not always about the big conflict. It's about having to think during this time. And this is going to go on for a while. It's not a short transit, a short aspect. It's actually going to be one of the flavors of the month of August, is this square to either and Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn by Mars. So my advice to you is to wear pastel colors, gentle, soft colors. My advice to you is to breathe and consciously take deep breaths. Know that you're breathing. Consciously see how you feel. Mars, anyway, is in its own sign. It's in Aries. That's enough. And so there's going to be a lot of irritability because Mars will be itching for a fight. But Mars in Aries is also itching to discover something new. When you find out that you're getting agitated or irritated, take a moment and say, how else can I use this energy? What I'm going to do is I'm going to see what I can discover that's new. Maybe there's a new movie. Maybe there's a new book. Maybe I can take a different trail as I walk through the woods. Maybe just as I walk around in my town or city, I take a different route. But take a different route. Don't go the same familiar route that's going to land you in the land of conflict. Because once Mars squares Pluto, we're there, as I said before, we're there actually all month, but certainly when it hits this big point, that's a point where you want to be in a creative mode so that you're actually allowing the energy to work through you instead of to work you. The next thing that's going to happen is on August 16th and August 17th, we will have the Sun together with Mercury. So when the Sun, marvelous life force, comes together with another life force, any other life force, that life force takes on the coloring of the Sun. That life force takes on the power of the Sun. So Mercury, the way we think, and the Sun, the way we are, the way we know we are, in our heart, when they come together, if you think it, you believe it's so because it matches your life path. And if it's your life path, you think that it's okay for you to be that way because it matches your life path. Everything that comes into the Sun's close orbit begins to operate like the Sun. So the caution here is, just because you know it's so, you do want to be a little bit more careful. Take about a week from the August 17th till about like the 25th, and nothing is written in stone, so don't write it in stone. When Mercury is with the Sun, Mercury has a tendency to give its power over to the Sun and to want to write everything in stone. And you have to know that Mercury is transitory. So allow the thought that you were willing to stake everything on, allow that thought to mellow, allow it to morph into its next level. The important thing is with this Mercury conjunct Sun is, along with those cautions, this is a time for great, grand ideas because the Sun is in the sign of Leo and Mercury is in the sign of Leo. And when they're together, you've got a power block that doesn't have to drag you down if you're conscious. It can give you great ideas, ideas from the heart, ideas to the heart. It's a great time for romance, but it's not a great time to make the big commitment because romance and Mercury is involved and Mercury moves on. But it's a great time to enjoy. It's a great time for children because Leo rules children. It's a great time to learn something new about just being. When the Sun is in Leo, it's a great time to be. When the Sun connects with another planet, it's a great time to simply have these two planets maybe sit out on the porch and sip some tea together. It's not the best time to get out and make the world do what you think it should do. It is an excellent, excellent time to come up with grand thoughts, grand ideas, creative ventures. It's great. It's great to connect with people, see what they're thinking. Great for that. And as we move later on into the month, you'll see with my next broadcast, you'll see how to use that energy. But this is a very productive time. It's a very intense time. It's a time that could be disruptive if we allow ourselves to be dragged into that. We don't have to allow ourselves to be dragged into it. We can say, nope, I'm going to breathe through this. I'm going to listen with my heart. I'm going to keep a higher thought, a higher mind about what's going on. It's a phenomenal time to really experience the drama of your life without trauma. If you don't take the reins of this, you will experience drama and trauma. It's just so much nicer to sit on that porch and sip tea with friends and watch the show from there. So until next time, enjoy.